everyone, and welcome to the Utopia of Nerd News. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam.
And we have some... Okay, I'm not going to say the same thing that I say all the time because it just gets a little redundant, don't you think? But we do have some really interesting and pretty cool gaming news and movie news and TV show news and anime and book news.
Well, we'll go ahead and start with the games. And honestly, it was kind of a slow week with games, which is a rarity because normally games are almost always loaded. But this week I was struggling to find stuff, but there were a few things worth talking about. The first which is MMO Champion confirmed that Blizzard trademarked the name Warlords of Draenor, which a lot of people are thinking might be the next WoW expansion that we are presumably expecting the announcement for this month at BlizzCon. Keep in mind, though, that doesn't necessarily mean it is, because not too long ago we had the name Dark Below trademarked, and that turned out to be not it. So, I don't know. I suppose we'll know sometime this month. So.
Yeah, because BlizzCon is coming.
Right.
Coming up.
It's coming.
Go get your tickets.
And get a bunch of Blizzard in-game...
merchandise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And go get...
You get a Hearthstone card.
Ooh. And then you can buy all the plushies and stuff.
There'd be a lot of Murlocs.
Gurky, yeah.
And some really fantastic news. It wasn't CD Projekt Red themselves, but the company that owns CD Projekt Red basically came out and said that if you're getting the PC version of The Witcher 3, we can guarantee you 100%. It doesn't matter if you buy it off and support them directly with Good Old Games or you buy a hard disk. There will not be DRM in Witcher 3, which is fantastic news. For those who might not know what DRM is, it's basically when a developer puts stuff into the game or like into the disk, and then they purposely lock it out so you can't get it without purchasing it separately.
Oh, that's horrible.
Which is something EA is known to do. Activision's done it.
I'm sure a lot of companies do it.
Right.
Secretly.
Right. But yeah, they basically said, we tried it once and never again. So that's fantastic news. I hate DRM, so good for them.
Good job.
And the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about with the gaming news, which is something that I suppose personally would have a slight higher interest for me, I suppose, but a game that's currently on Kickstarter right now called The Magi and the Sleeping Star, which is a game, I think it's like an adventure game, right? But it's got one thing in particular that it's not the main focus of the game, but it's something that's really, really unique to the game, which is the main developer of the game wanted to make a game that would help people learn about type 1 diabetes, because he was a diabetic for 19 years. I myself am for 8, hence why I have a little bit of a connection to it. But he was for 19 years. He's like, most people really don't know anything about it. So he's like, I wanted to develop a game that's not an educational game like those really crappy ones that you play at schools or something that are like, here's random knowledge thrown at you and then you hate it and you learn nothing.
For school.
He's like, I wanted to make an actual game, but then the main character of the game is a type 1 diabetic, and you have to manage the blood sugar so that you can use all of his abilities to a proper level.
That's interesting.
So it's an interesting thing. I'm curious of how it would actually come out, but I think it's worth noting because it's something really cool and really unique and something that people should know because diabetes is a major thing.
Yes, and it can affect you genetically. I mean, you can get it because you just don't diet well and just...
That's generally type 2,
yeah.
Which are like the posers. Normally they just take pills.
It sounds really interesting. Like, it's almost like the sleep aspect. Like, you need to sleep to like be able to do stuff, but instead it's using like the blood sugar stuff. That's really cool.
I think it would be really cool. This isn't the kind of game that it is, but if it was like an Elder Scrolls Fallout kind of game, and then you had to manage it while managing like hunger levels and food.
Oh my gosh,
that would be so difficult, but so awesome at the same time.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Like mind blown right there.
Now you really want to teach people what it's like to live with it.
There you go.
Because it's a pain.
Oh,
it's a lot of math. So that's really it for games. It was mostly just, hey, let's talk about Assassin's Creed type stuff all over the internet or Batman Origins. Neither of which are actual news. They're just talking about games that were just released, which is common. So moving on to movie news. The first one's really interesting. I don't know if I want to say it's good or bad until I can actually hear it in this case. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has basically its music, where it's coming from, who's making it.
Who's making it? Oh gosh, who's making it?
Well, they signed Hans Zimmer
Okay.
to compose it with rapper slash really, really famous songwriter Pharrell Williams.
Okay.
And when they started getting stuff ready, they had a lot of other people who were musically talented wanting to pitch in. So here's where it gets even more random and weird. The Smiths songwriter Johnny Marr, Incubus guitarist Mike Inziger, and one group I haven't heard of, but I guess is popular, Inthematics. A musician from them called Dave Stewart. But yeah, it's like a really random group, and they're all like different types of music, and they're making, I guess, some type of band to make an album for The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
You know what this reminds me of? The Great Gatsby. Because they took a lot of bands and put it into the movie.
Yeah, but see, those were just famous songs.
I know,
this is a group of people making different original music.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean Hans Zimmer, great composer. I don't know.
It's weird. It's really weird.
I suppose we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can say positive or negative. It's unique.
It's up in the air.
Yeah. Moving right along, though, Chris McQuarrie, I believe that's how it's pronounced. He was recently the writer-director of the movie Jack Reacher, starring Tom Cruise. Was given the writing and directing helm over the movie over the 1970s anime Star Blazers live-action movie, which is basically a robot one. So I guess I never watched the old anime, but maybe a Gundam-esque type thing.
I've never even heard of it. But
yeah. So
perhaps.
Yeah, they have a writer-director for it.
They should just come out with, Gundam live-action movies. That should just be a thing.
She speaks the truth.
I do.
So, for those of you who might be interested in watching Thor: The Dark World this month, actually, like next week.
Like a little interested.
You know how most of the time it's basically gotten to the point where, like, alright, so there's the 3D option and the 2D. Let's save money and go to the 2D?
Yep.
Well, they decided to give kind of a bonus to the people who go to 3D, whether it's an IMAX or in regular. So everyone who goes to one of those two options will be given 5 minutes of the Captain America movie. That's actually pretty big.
So does that mean we're going 3D?
I'm going 3D. I want to watch it.
Alright, we're going 3D.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. It's something worth noting.
Hey, that's okay though. I'm okay with going to see Thor 3D because I love Thor.
You love Chris Hemsworth.
You know what? Yes. Yes, I do love Chris Hemsworth, but I love Thor. It's pretty good.
It is.
Yeah.
And in my last bit of news, and in fact my favorite bit of news that I have on my entire sheet of news, if you remember earlier this month, not too long ago, Ben Kingsley basically said something about working with Marvel again.
Yes, I do believe we talked about that.
And they confirmed that it is a one-off, kind of like we were saying, a short, one-shot movie, mini one. But they actually kind of gave a thing on what it's about. Now, this is the really interesting thing.
All right.
It's not just like a funny, haha, this is what that character's doing post-Iron Man 3. It's got some of that, but what they did say is it's going to feature the real Mandarin and how upset he is about how they destroyed his name and his legacy.
Whoa!
Sup, Iron Man 4? It's coming now. I mean, how can you not do that? Come on.
Do you think... Okay, so... the wheels are turning in my head.
I know, right?
Do you think that they did this because there was such an upset about the Mandarin? Because if...
There could be.
Spoilers, if you didn't watch Iron Man 3, the Mandarin is not how he is in the comics, like, at all.
Right.
So I wonder if they're like, how can we do this so that we can appease our fans in a way that wouldn't be, like, just covering it up? Or if they had this in the plans, like, the whole time, because Marvel's just
Well, if that's
crazy.
the case, that's a lot of pre-planning.
Oh my gosh.
And normally I'm somebody who hates cop-out stuff. It made me really dislike the ending to Star Trek Into Darkness. and several other things. That's just the one that popped into my head. This one I actually really like, mostly because it does open the door for a potential Iron Man 3, which they're really...
4, you mean?
Yes, 4, excuse me. Because really without it, yeah, he's got some other villains, but the Mandarin is his villain. That's like the pinnacle. That's like Joker to Batman, right? Is Iron Man to Mandarin. And they did the Mandarin, and they did him like they did him, which was kind of interesting, I guess. Whether you like it or not, this would open the door for what really should be his conclusion. Now, the tricky thing is they only have Robert Downey signed on for Avengers 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have another Iron Man, unless maybe they're in the works for that, considering they went ahead with this project, which they probably wouldn't want to open that door and then be like, no Iron Man. Mandarin's going to be Captain America's third villain. That'd be weird, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It really gets you thinking, though.
Yes. I can't wait for this short. I can't wait. But,
Also, no actors known for who the real Mandarin is.
Makes me wonder, though, so if they do actually end up doing, like, an Iron Man 4, and this is the real Mandarin we're getting...
And he's really Chinese.
Who would the other one have been, then? Like, I wonder if there was... I don't know.
An actor?
No, I mean, like, the guy who, like... Maybe it's just some guy who came up with, like, the thing that you inject, and I can't even think of it.
Extremis?
Yes, the Extremis.
Don't know how everything ties in.
I don't know.
But that's definitely something interesting. Now we have some trailers. In fact, there were a ton of trailers that came out. So there are actually some which we're not going to talk about, but we're going to talk about 6. All right? There were probably, like, upwards of 10 full-size trailers that came out.
So we're going for a ride. We're going to strap in and go on a virtual movie trailer ride.
All right, so the first one we're going to talk about...
Wait, you didn't strap in.
Click.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is the final trailer for The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. Did you have any real thoughts about it?
Like I've said before, you guys should know this. I haven't seen the first one. Well, I guess you shouldn't know this because I could have seen it from now, but I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the first one, but The Hunger Games, they look good. I haven't read the books, so I can't be critical on that, but I think it looks good. I mean, there's not much more to say.
Really, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it really doesn't... They have some clips in there that weren't in the others, but it really doesn't show you anything that you wouldn't have already assumed happening anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still interested in seeing it. I really like the first movie. This one looks good. I mean...
Yeah, and it doesn't give away too much. That's what I liked about him, so... Yeah.
Coming from people who haven't read the books. Because we don't know what's coming up. Moving right along to the big trailer that came out. X-Men Days of Future Past.
Oh my gosh! This looks so good! I hadn't seen the first one until, like, earlier this year, and I was like...
I forced it upon her, yes.
When does the next one come out? I'm like, what's going on? So, like, I'm super excited. Oh my gosh. The writing and, like, the directing for the trailer anyways. I'm pumped. I'm just so excited.
Right, I really like the trailer. I mean, I really like the trailer. I love the voiceovers by Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, or Sir Ian McKellen. I loved how it had kind of the old guard of the X-Men they showed, the Halle Berry and Hugh Jackman and all them. And then they showed, like, little clips of the future people, like Cable and stuff that we haven't seen yet. The future time travelers, if you will. And then, so it just gives you a taste of them. And then it flashes to the old characters that were introduced in First Class with McAvoy and all them, and it looks really good.
Oh my gosh.
I know the comic books that this is taken off, they didn't send Wolverine back. I saw that. It was Shadowcat.
Oh.
So they changed that up, I know. And I still am just dying to see the Sentinels in action, but I suppose I'll have to wait for the second trailer for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But looks really good.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Kind of actually reminded me a little bit of the Man of Steel trailer. The way they did the voiceovers.
I can see it, yeah.
And they did, like, the brief clip things, and he kind of talks the same type of speaking. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the second one's just as good, so
And hopefully it's better than Man of Steel.
Oh, gosh.
Moving right along, we're going to talk about 47 Ronin.
Okay, 47 Ronin. Hello, Keanu Reeves. Where in the world have you been? Because you just, like, popped in there.
He's been training to be a samurai.
I guess. Okay, so when I first saw this trailer, I was like, oh, like, it's Keanu Reeves. I don't know what's going on. Okay. As the trailer progressed, you know, it doesn't... If you're not taking it seriously, it probably isn't that bad of a movie. I don't know. It looks okay.
I have the same thought about Keanu Reeves looking completely awkward in this, being the only Caucasian person.
I know.
It's not the first time they've done that in a movie. Last Samurai was a good movie. And really, I'm not a big fan of Keanu Reeves. That being said, I still enjoyed The Matrix. That was a good movie, and despite him not being the best emotional actor, but this movie doesn't look like it's a high-emotion movie anyway. In fact, I'm kind of really wanting to see this. It looks like a fun action samurai fantasy, like a lot of magic, demon fighting with awesome, cool samurai.
Yeah.
It feels like a manga. I don't know if this was taken off a manga or not, but it feels like it was. They show like this lady like shooting fire and then like a dragon coming out of the magic and just all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, like I said, it's like not one that you want to take seriously, obviously, duh. But it does. Like,
it looks fun.
I was like,
it looks like one of those movies that you're not like, this is going to be the best movie. You go in there and you're like, let's have some fun.
Yeah. Like,
you know, sometimes the best movies to watch aren't the best movies. They're the movies that are fun.
Like the Expendables. It
It
wasn't bad.
It's okay. But I have higher hopes than Expendables. Okay, my bar's set higher than that.
It's up there.
Okay. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that one. That one actually comes out. Get this, perfect movie for Christmas time.
What?
December 25th. So why not?
Why not?
It's basically this year's Les Miserables.
There we go.
Yeah. Moving along, we have Vince Vaughn's new movie, Delivery Man. Now, this one I know the trailer's actually on the TV. I've seen it on the TV.
Oh, okay.
So they popped them basically the moment they released it, it was on the TV. So, you might have seen it.
I haven't seen this, but...
Well, you did.
No, I did. Yes, I did. I watched it, but I haven't seen it on TV. But, okay, going into this, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. It's comedy, like, month or something. I don't know. I was like, okay, Vince Vaughn's okay, but I think I actually want to see this movie. Like, I wouldn't, like, pay to go see it in a theater, but it's definitely one that I would think was funny, because, I don't know, it's got, like, a different premise than, like,
a really different premise
than all other comedies. I was like, whoa, this is actually kind of good, and I actually laughed it apart, and that's when you know that it's funny. It's when you laugh. But... Yeah. Yeah,
it's based around him having like 50-something kids who are
like
all
500 some.
I think it was like 50
or maybe
something.
It's 50 some. That was a lot.
Was he an octopus? No, but he had like 50-something kids or 500, whatever, somewhere between like 50 to 500 kids.
Yeah.
And they're all like probably around our age-ish, like maybe from like 18 to probably like upper 20s, in between there, and he decides he's gonna connect with them all.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm basically in the same boat with you, or I think I would want to watch it, but I wouldn't want to pay to watch it. It'd be like, oh, it's free. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
It looks funny.
Right. So, good for Vince Vaughn. Up next is The Wolf of Wall Street.
All right, let's talk about this.
Go for it.
I don't know how to feel about this movie. At first, I was like, okay, it's going to be a serious movie because Leonardo DiCaprio is in it. I'm like, okay, right. What is going on in this movie? Like, it went from, like, being serious to, like, being humorous, and I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to cash in on this comedy thing. He's like, oh, I can be funny, too. Like, I'm like, don't do this. But it was done. It was done.
You know, and the weirder thing with the people involved in this being kind of not a super serious movie, is it's directed by Martin Scorsese, who's like the most I shouldn't say like gang related, but like serious, like, you know, people dying all over the place kind of movie. And this one doesn't feel like that. It also co-stars Jonah Hill alongside Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know what to think about the trailer either. Like, there are parts of it where I'm like, this looks really interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's parts where I'm just like,
what?
so definitely not paying to go watch it.
No, but it might
I'm sure
be
someday I'll watch
interesting.
it.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's about.
It's just a weird concept. Jonah Hill and Leonardo DiCaprio working together.
Well, Jonah Hill worked with Brad Pitt on Moneyball.
I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, oh, I don't know.
Hey, Jonah Hill has acting jobs. Don't hate him because he's friends with Seth Rogen.
I'm not hating him. I'm not hating on him, but it's just not two people I would put together in my head, I guess.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
Sometimes.
We won't know yet, though.
Nope.
And the last we're going to talk about, the Lego Movie.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I am going to pay to see this movie. I cannot wait for this movie. Like, okay, obviously I love the Lego games. Like, Adam and I played Lego Batman 2, and I fell in love. It was like
they're just
seeing
fun.
someone
They're
for
just
the
like
first
happy,
time.
fun games.
Oh my gosh, yes!
Especially because like everything's so serious, you know, and then they're just like, no, let's just be fun.
Yeah, and right now we're playing Lego Marvel. Oh my gosh, it's great. It's so great. If you haven't bought it, buy it. Go buy it. It's amazing. It's funny. But yeah, like, seeing this trailer, I just laughed so hard.
This episode of Union is brought to you by Lego.
Lego. The blocks you build
Anyway,
with.
the movie. It looks really good. The writing seems to be good. They have a lot of big names, which isn't uncommon for comedies. It looks funny, though. It looks really funny. A lot of Batman jokes.
Oh my goodness.
Abraham Lincoln's in there.
Yep. There was Wonder Woman and...
The main character is just, like, ridiculously stupid in the way that it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just can't wait.
It looks funny. Make sure to check that one out.
Yes.
It's hard to describe everything that goes on in that trailer. So, alright, so that's it for my news. We'll go ahead and let her talk for a while.
Okay, so on to some anime news. We actually have a lot going on in the anime world. Just to start off, Wolf Children, we talked about it some episode ago. And just to get this out, because that's a thing.
Reiterate?
Yes, reiterate. I like get this out.
Well, to each their own.
To reiterate, Wolf Children will release on Blu-ray and DVD combo and DVD on November 19th. So if you haven't checked that out, there is, I'm sure there's a trailer somewhere. And then you can check that out. And it doesn't look bad. I know we've talked about it, because I'm pretty sure we talked about the trailer. We saw it. And we're like, oh, it looks interesting. But, or we didn't say that. Who knows? But yes, that is coming out on November 19th. So if you want to pick it up, I'm pretty sure you can pre-order it. So that is a thing. Alright, so now to get into the crazy news. Okay, so Sentai Filmworks, they just love to license animes in like bunches. It's like... It'll be quiet for a little while, and then it's like, you've got like 8 or 9 animes.
They save up their money so that they can spend it. They
I
make it
doubt
rain
it.
on anime. They just...
We're making it rain! Oh my gosh. If they did that in The Office. We're making it rain! Okay. So, these are the Sentai Filmworks licensed animes.
What is this?
I don't know, it's...
You're dancing.
No, if I was dancing, I'd like... Anyways, moving on. So, the first one we're going to talk about is called Mega Nebu, and it's a 12-episode series. What it's about is a high school student is a... This is crazy, okay? I've never actually heard of an anime with this, so I guess it's very interesting and unique. This high school student is obsessed with eyeglasses.
Okay.
And he creates a club about eyeglasses, and he puts people into 3 categories. People who wear eyeglasses, those who don't, and girls. Yeah, so this is really weird. It's an anime about a guy obsessed with eyeglasses, and being in high school and stuff
I've
like
seen
that.
some weird obsession animes. That one's right up there.
But if you you're like, oh man, yeah, eyeglasses, that's my thing. This anime will be on select digital outlets, and it will be it'll have a home video release in 2014. So there's number one. Now on to number two. Number two is called Little Buster's Refrain. It is a 26 episode and series anime, and it actually is the follow up to the original. So, what is this one about? It's about Ricky Now and teammates have finally managed to form a baseball team for the Little Busters. Or are they reuniting one? So, are they making a new one or reuniting the old one? Or is it deja vu?
What if they created a new team, then went back to their old team and played their new team for rights over the field?
Oh, that'd be crazy. That'd be a little bit of
Season 3.
mind blown. So, yes, is this deja vu or is it something else? So, this one will also be available select digital outlets, and it'll be coming up in 2014.
That's
All right.
next year.
Yes, it is.
Or last year if you're watching this in 2015.
Oh, that'd be-
In that case, tell me how Guardians of the Galaxy was.
oh my gosh, it better be amazing. Alright, so for number 3, and this one's, I don't know. I was reading up on it, and I was like, oh man, this sounds a lot like an anime I'm currently starting to watch. So, this anime is called Log Horizon. It is a 25 episode anime series. And what is it about? It is about an MMO RPG. That's a global phenomenon.
Oh, okay. That's never been done.
With 11 expansions.
That's a lot.
But the 12th expansion goes terribly wrong.
Does it trap people inside of it?
It traps people inside of it. And they have to face real monsters.
Do they actually die in real life if they die?
And they have no extra lives. And if they die in the game, it's game over permanently.
I refuse to watch this. I refuse.
Sounds a little bit like Sword Art Online.
It sounds like they watched Sword Art Online to start writing their script.
Oh.
It's like fanfic for Sword Art Online turned into an actual anime.
That's what it feels like. Because I was reading it, I was like, oh, it's an MMORPG. I was like, oh, it's going to be like .hack and maybe Sword Art Online. And then I kept reading and I was like, it's
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art
Except probably with the worst writing.
Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online. What is
Right.
going on?
Right, because I remember that was like my big worry originally when I first saw Sword Art Online. It was
Yeah.
like, is it going to be just a rip-off of .hack?
.hack,
But
yeah.
when I actually watched it, it was significantly different. They both had some similarities, but the big one just being setting in an MMO. But they were very different outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was,
that sounds...
Yep. But that's a thing, and if you are interested in this, it will be available again through select digital outlets, and it will be coming up in 2014 for a home video release. So, moving on from there. Alright, so this is the last one of Sentai Filmworks.
the last one.
Licensed one. And actually, this one is an English dub one. It's called Girls in Panzer. And it will
And a
release... Wait, what'd you say?
You said a Panzer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that means tank. It's German for tank.
You're good. Because this anime will be released on December 3rd. DVD and Blu-ray discs. So, Ore Academy, instead of practicing Kung Fu, they practice Gun Fu. And it's called Tankery.
Oh. So it's
Which is the martial art of
using a tank?
operating an armored tank.
Oh, okay. That's my kind of martial art right there. Just shoot stuff with a giant cannon.
So it has to deal with people in tankery and stuff.
It's like
There's a lot of characters in it, by the way. The list went on and on. On and on. But yes, that will be available December 3rd.
half Valkyria Chronicles, half Mobile Suit Gundam.
It's a thing. That's a thing.
It is a thing.
So that is it for my anime news. Moving on to the book news, we're going to go into the DC world. We're going to delve in there. Alright, so Batman fans, Batman Volume 3, Death of the Family, the New 52 graphic novel, is going to be out this Tuesday, which is November 5th, and it's by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. So, in this, it was really interesting for me to read because I'm not quite familiar with the New 52s. I know, that's the new thing going on right now. But
it's the reboot.
Yes, the reboot. If you weren't aware. I found it very interesting that it says like the Joker's face is like skinned off and he like has it attached.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, that's so weird. But anyways, yeah.
It's not so weird.
Well, it was weird to read. But yes, it has to do with the Joker and Batman and obviously probably about his family dying. Mm-hmm. Or maybe the Joker's family dying. But anyways, that is coming out this Tuesday, so check it out. You can go and check out what it's going to be about. And I'm going to sell this out again. On Amazon.com, you can check out and read descriptions of the books. That is a thing. And moving on to some more DC news in the book world. There is a DC Comics omnibus, 1 Million Omnibus book that's coming out. I do believe it's hardcover, and it's called DC Comics 1 Million Omnibus. It's by Grant Morrison, and it is about the ancestors of like Batman and Wonder Woman, and kind of like the JLA, Justice League of America, if you're not familiar. And it's about the heroes of the future. So it's like the heroes of the future, and then they talk about their ancestors. Like, it's just interesting.
They discuss how badly they got beat in the box office by Marvel.
No, they don't in that book, but it'd be interesting if someone did come up with it. Yeah. So yes, we dived into the DC world of books, and that's really all that was going on for book news. There's not a whole lot of interesting stuff. But yeah.
All right, so that's that.
News.
That is the news. Thank you for watching. Over the course of the week, we will have absolutely nothing for you outside of this. But if you're watching this, then you have nothing. So, bye.
See ya.